So first, let's add another field to our form. All we have now is spell name. Let's add something else. Here's our form. We've got one field. Let's add another one. Let's add level. That's a popular one. So I'll add an input. Go ahead and format it that same way. Name, level, placeholder, level. Plaque holder will not work. I did that this morning too. Refresh, there it is. Enter spell name, blah, 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 enter a level, whatever. All right, it's there. Doesn't do anything though, right? It doesn't show up anywhere, but it's there. It's on the page. That's something. But I could say spell name, fireball, level, pancakes. That's not ideal. I shouldn't be able to type pancakes in there. What can we do about it? We could. Input type equals text. What if it were input type number? Fireball, pancakes. Doesn't work. The E it'll let me do, so I could do like 7 times 10 to the 9th. Yes, it lets us put E's in there, interestingly. But yeah, now it doesn't let me type letters for the most part, but I can type numbers, and I automatically get the little arrows here. Woo. Yes. On a Mac, hold down Control, slide up and down with 2 fingers. Good stuff. All right. So, yep, we have different input types. A lot were added in HTML5. Things like number, color, all of those just fall back to text fields on browsers that don't support the HTML5 types. Sometimes different types give you different keyboards on mobile devices as well, so they're handy for that too. So maybe the numbers will always be visible if you're using a mobile device. So cool. We've added a field. Doesn't do anything yet, but hey, that's something. I'm going to go ahead and commit that. Well, actually, let's deal with its presentation a little bit first. I don't think it needs to be that big. It's just a little number, but it's taking up not half the space, but too much space. I don't like it. So I'm going to fiddle with it a little. Fiddle with it a little. So maybe I throw a class on here of small. And then I write myself a CSS rule for that. So if I give it a class of small, I'll put my new rules at the bottom here. Input.small. And let's do something about this. I could try to set the width. 5 pixels is way too small, but let's see if it even works. Yeah, okay. It's there. But that's a little ridiculous. So I'm using something called Flexbox for the layout on this page. We'll get into what Flexbox is a little more later. Again, not a CSS class, so I'm not going to harp too much about it. But if you are interested, I'm going to use it here a little bit because I'm using it for the other one. So one of the things Flexbox lets you do is say, after you've added everything, if there's any room left over, distribute it this way to all the stuff on that, in this case, row. So everything in this row will distribute the extra space a certain way. And right now, we're not really, well, forget about that rule. That rule is bad. But I could do something like this. Flex grow, what does it say here? Sets the flex grow factor. Negative numbers are invalid. Okay, the flex grow factor, but it doesn't say what the flex grow factor means. So let's look at CSS tricks. I bet it'll say something about flex grow. Flex grow. Defines the ability for a flex item to grow if necessary, accepts a unitless value that serves as a proportion. It dictates what amount of the available space inside the flex container the item should take up. For example, if all items have flex grow set to 1, every child will be set to an equal size inside the container. If you were to give one of the children a value of 2, that child would take up twice as much space as the others. So if I set flex grow 1 on that, and I say for text fields, 4, well, I've got other issues here. So I want this rule to also apply to numbers. So I'm going to put a comma here. You can have multiple selectors separated by commas, and the same rule will apply to more than one type. So let's do that. I want numbers and text fields to look more or less the same. So I had flex grow 1 here, flex grow 4 on the other. There we go. Now it's about 4 times the size of that, which seems legit to me. They'll both grow if I resize the window. But spell name will always get much more room than the other does. Cool. But it's still not on the page. That's okay. We'll deal with that separately. We've got it on there. It's a number. That seems cool. Let's add level field to the form. Right now, it's in my working copy. Because I'm using the GUI here, I will do the add and the commit in one step. Make it a permanent part of my repository. Still just living on my laptop, right? So I want to push it up to GitHub. Oops, which I do with this menu here. Push. Questions?